I'm keen to keep this show going. So our penultimate speaker is the award-winning entrepreneur behind Vinomofo, Justin Dry. Justin's passionate about providing his team with a great working environment and is a strong believer in the importance of outstanding customer service and harnessing the power of your customer to of your customer base to promote your product. And as such, he's put a bottle of wine under all of your seats. What a legend! No one fell for it, totally made that up. He's not that generous, and this is a dry event. So please welcome Justin Dry!
Started from the bottom, now we're here. Started from the bottom, now my whole team.
Hello, everybody.
Yeah, started from the bottom, now we're here.
These talks, emotional roller coaster. I had a baby like 2 months ago. I was literally crying 4 times over there. As like the daughter, my God, what are you doing to me, people? Completely throwing me off my game. But anyway, great to be here. Thank you for having me, Saxton. I thought, firstly, does anyone, hands up, who knows of Vinomofo before today? Keep your hands up if you've bought from us. Humbling, very humbling, people. Anyway, I'll tell you a little bit about me and my journey, and then I'm going to finish with some lessons that I've learned along the way. So, it all started about here. This was the cutest picture I could find. Excuse me. Outside of that, I had a mullet. Not very cool. So this was me when I was about 10 or just before. It was when I started my first business. I've been involved with business since then. I was surrounded by it. My dad was an entrepreneur. Lots of failures, lots of successes, but mostly failures. So I saw the highs and lows of that. But when I was 10, I decided to start this business, and it actually did all right. It was car washing and lawn mowing. I was that annoying kid that knocked on the neighbours' doors all the time trying to ask for business. And it went so well that I employed my first employee at 10 and a half. It was my cousin, and he'll be forever known as Lazy Ben, because he's also the first person I fired. He did come to my wedding. We're still mates, so that's the most important thing. I continued to start businesses for the next couple of years. I discovered wine, which is obviously my thing now, when I was about 15, 16, which also seems very young now that I have a daughter. But it was my uncle's fault, because at every family Christmas, they would pull me aside, line up some glasses, and let me do a blind tasting, variety, vintage, region, and they'd guide me through it. They both worked in the industry, so it's completely their fault. I fell so in love with wine that by the time I was 18, I was absolutely mad passionate. I studied it at uni. I worked in the industry. I held tastings for people. I worked in wine shops. I did lots of vintages all over the place. So complete wine nut. After a couple of years of working in the industry, I wasn't sure if it was a passion or a profession. So I decided to try some other stuff. Being interested in business for my whole life, I decided I'd become a stockbroker. I studied financial markets and actually became a stockbroker. That was the late 90s. For someone who was interested in tech, that was a really good time to become a stockbroker, because everything I touched, it was the tech boom, so everything I touched turned to absolute gold. And so all my friends thought I was like a bloody genius. It was amazing. I was also there for the tech crash, which was early 2000s. Didn't look so smart. My screen was completely red, had no friends left, and very little money. I decided that that was not a fun game, and decided that I would try something else again. So a lot of smart people at that stage were getting into profit development. I decided that I'll try my hand at it. I took what little money I had. I convinced a guy that had some land, 2 parcels of land, down the coast of South Australia, to sell me the blocks with no money down. I don't know how I did it. I was a young kid, like 25, 26, but I did. Then I convinced a real estate agent to sell those places for me, and I'd pay him on settlement. Then I got a really cheap architect and got him to do some initial plans, and I went to council and got them approved. I pre-sold the first lot. It was 15 townhouses, and sold them all really quickly, settled them before I had to pay for anything, and made a lot of money. I then developed the parcel next door to that, which had 28 houses on it, sold them all pre-sale, made even more money. So I was 26, 27. I had houses, cars, watches, travel, all the cool stuff. And then I thought, like, everything I touched was turning to gold, apart from the stocks. That's when a family member ran into some financial trouble. He was going to go under, and he asked me to go guarantor. I went with my heart, not my head, and I said yes. Fast forward 4 weeks, and it got called in. I lost everything. From being a multi-millionaire in my late 20s to walking out of my house because the bank took it, lost my cars, lost everything. Really shitty time. Then my girlfriend ran off with someone else. Then my mum got really sick. So this was that moment that I was like, oh my God, everything's flying, and then it all went downhill. I reached a pretty low stage, and I went and partied, and I did all the things that are not healthy for someone to do. And a couple of years later, I reached absolute rock bottom, which was at that time that I was like, I need to change. If I keep going down this path, I'm not going to be living for a really long time. So I did. I decided I was going to get back into business. I was going to start in the wine industry again. I was going to go online. The first thing I launched was soon after that, and it was something called Quaff, which is like a Facebook for wine. It built a community of wine lovers that were young and interested in talking about wine in a different way. The next one was something called Road to Vino. I fulfilled a dream of mine. I bought a combi. I traveled around Australia surfing, tasting wine, and filming it. I got paid in sponsorship dollars, and it was the best bloody couple of years of my life. The next one was like a mobile check-in app. It was like you go out to wineries and you check in where you are, and you'd get a deal offered to you by that winery for checking in there, and then it would share through social. So it's kind of like the first one was building this audience of young people. The second one was building this network of producers, these rock stars of the industry that I just adored. I just wanted to hang out with them because they were cool. And then the last one was the deals-based. Put all of those together, and in 2010, there was the fastest growing business of that time was a thing called Groupon. I was like, I'm really good at building an audience and the network, but my business model hasn't quite got there. I combined them all, and in 2011, we launched Vinomofo. It just took off. We went from 2 guys in a garage to 100 plus people now. We operate in 3 countries. We are a very sizable organisation, and we sell a lot of wine. Through that period, we have sold 70% of the company, then bought it back. We have raised $25 million, took some off the table, spent some really badly, and then spent some well. I've made lots of mistakes, I've hired lots of people, I've tried lots of things, and I thought I'd share with you the lessons that I've learnt along the way in terms of leadership. This is Keita. Keita's one of our office dogs. We have a lot of office dogs. She's the head of socials office dog. I don't even think it looks like a dog. It looks even weirder now because it's got no teeth, and the kind of tongue hangs out the side. But anyway, beside the point, I've only got a couple of minutes. So, first one, create a movement. People want to believe in stuff. They want to be part of a journey. They want to be part of something bigger than them. So as a leader, if you can give them that, it is absolutely crucial for them to giving you their all. Something we learned with Vinomofo, for us, our revolution was disrupting the wine industry. We wanted to remove the bow ties and the BS around wine. Drink really good wine, be super passionate, but don't be a wanker. That was basically our thing. Go all in on your strengths. For so long, I thought I had to be good at everything. As a leader, I was like, great leaders know everything. They're so competent. They're so confident. They're so amazing. And then I was one. And I was like, I've got to be that. But you know what? The more I know, the more experience I have, the more great leaders I hang out with and have become great friends of mine and mentors, the more I realize that the secret's actually flipped the other way. They know what they're really good at, and they know what they suck at. And they focus all their energy on what they're good at, and they hire everything else around their weaknesses. The moment I did that for myself was one of the most liberating days of my life. To not judge myself because of the weaknesses, but to go all in and celebrate my strengths. And it changed the business and my life forever. Get the people thing right. People are everything. hire, find, do whatever you need to get great people around you. Great people can help you build an empire. The opposite can tear it down really, really quickly. And what do great people need? To take risks. What do they need to take risks? To feel safe. So, find great people, make them feel safe, and they'll take the risks and help you build that empire. Keep it simple. One of my weaknesses is detail. This helps. Keep it simple. I think as you build a business, as you build a team, we have this tendency to think complexity is key. It just isn't. You create process for process sake, and I've done it myself a heap of times. And what I've realized is, if you find the metrics that matter, focus your team on achieving those, is the quickest way to success. Keep it simple. Stay humble, stay curious. Ego gets in the way of good decisions every single time. It's really hard. It takes practice. I've done it myself hundreds of times. But if you can remove ego from the equation and focus on what the outcome you're trying to achieve is, you're at a winning position. Stay curious. Leading is hard. Seriously, you've got to decide if you want to do it first. But leading is really hard. And it feels like sometimes you're getting punched in the face all the time. And in order to find your way around getting punched in the face all the time with a smile on your face, you need to be curious. You need to look for the outcome. You need to look for the question that matters. So all the great leaders that I've met and done business with are incredibly curious, and it's absolutely key. Thank you.